I have faith that the Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
One of our brethren some years ago spoke of the payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming.
The mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
For the first time, we have an idea now of how much the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Big Investment Fund performed over the course of a year.
That fund is called Ensign Peak Advisors, and Fox 13 News investigative reporter Nate Carlisle found the public document showing how many billions of dollars it gained in 2020.
Over the last year, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been more forthcoming about how it's investing tithing money. This latest filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission shows that despite the economic downturn of the pandemic, the church's big investment fund made money. This filing with the SEC shows the holdings of Ensign Peak Advisors at the end of 2020. When added all up, it shows the fund gained more than $6 billion in one of the most difficult financial years in American history.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. If I get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
Governor Cox also cites a memo that Bernanke's office issued a memo calling Utah a sanctuary state.
Mormon extremists disregarded federal warnings and established Port Joe Smith.
These are the latter days.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. Last night, I was attacked with a comment by a Karen. On another LDS Church BYU education scandal. Burst Mormon professors' faith bubbles. And so that's an actual news story from Peggy Fletcher Stack that I helped her with her investigation of some things that she did not report on. By a Russian. Just when I thought Russians had abandoned me, I'm sure this is a legitimate person, that this couldn't possibly be a troll. Ekaterina Brumit. I love the Russian language for women's names. It is so awesome to pronounce women's names in Russian. But nonetheless, they're just like Mormon women, born and bred to be prostitutes. So sad. And so, Ekaterina, or Catherine, or Karen, come from the meaning of pure. But Ekaterina is not pure whatsoever. And this shows the damage that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is doing to its Mormons, especially if this is a fake account troll. Because it means that Mormons are pulling this kind of stunt, afraid to show their true identity, to attack those whom they perceive as a threat to the church. Because it's not to Ekaterina, of which I will repeat the name frequently, because I love the way it sounds. And so this is a projection beam and mote that's being done here. And Mormons are so deeply indoctrinated with the revised method of indoctrinating for brainwashing that they don't see it. They don't see what they're doing. They don't see when they edit, even. They just don't have literacy when it comes to religion. So listen, what has the LDS Church ever done to you? I have over 8.3K videos on YouTube. I can guarantee you I've got numerous videos talking about what the church has specifically done to me. And look what they did to you. This is a branch off from the taking Matthew chapter 7 verse 1 out of context. You can't judge me. And so, again, this is a version of that. You can't judge the church. What have they done to you? You're not in their shoes. Religious freedom. Mormons don't get it. Brian David Mitchell was a religious leader. So why was he arrested as a kidnapper and a rapist for his religious freedom beliefs? Chad Daybell was a religious leader. Why is he getting the death penalty for dismembering little kids' bodies and burying them in the background for his religious beliefs? They were zombies. 8 passengers Mormon housewife. Why is she going to prison for her religious beliefs? Warren Jeffs. Why is he going to prison for his religious beliefs of child bride polygamy marriages? Mormons don't want to answer these questions because it means that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints also needs to be punished for their religious freedom criminal actions. Dear God. To make you. Make me? I choose, dear. I choose. Just like you chose to make this hate comment and abusive threat that YouTube refused to flag. To turn to Satan and all his lies. There's the abuse that YouTube didn't flag. This is a church news type reporting that I did. And she's saying I'm turning to Satan and all his lies. I used her clip. And you can go to her channel, the Salt Lake Tribune. You know, this is why I'm under cyber terrorism this morning. Because of the clips for free use that I download. Mormons commit cyber terrorism to try to prevent me from doing such a thing. It's illegal, but Mormons are doing it. This is because of the church. She does not understand baby name meanings. She is not fulfilling her baby name meaning by remaining pure. And she does not understand that Russell Marion is Mars, the husband of Venus, the symbol of the inverted pentagram of Lucifer. So thus the bride is the church of Lucifer, and therefore the husband, Mars, is Lucifer. And he's the leader of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for the latter days. It's not me making things up. You can look it up for yourself. Russell, Red, Marion, Star of the Sea. What's the red star of the sea? Mars. You know, don't blame me that the prophecies got fulfilled and you're in denial of it. I mean, like totally gag me with a spoon. You can believe and say what you want, apparently not. You are threatening me to shut up. You do not have freedom of speech to tell another person to shut up, unless they are taking away the freedom of speech of others. Crimes are not free rights. This is not complicated. She does not have free speech to do this to me. YouTube must have flagged it. But, you know, Trump's gonna take over soon. We've already got Zuckerberg caving to return to full-on attacks to murder children. Dear God. So yes, YouTube again is back to attacking teen girls, not just women. There's a channel called the Sistars, two sisters who just barely turned 18, and YouTube had demonetized them for being women and refused to reinstate their monetization, and so they can't do YouTube videos anymore because of the time and the amount of money that's required to make their videos as teen girls. And so they had to quit again because YouTube refused to give them their rights as human beings and American citizens. YouTube is in violation of their own policies that they created, which are based upon religious morals rather than the United States Constitution. But I would hate, you do hate, this is a hate comment there, Ekaterina, to be put in your shoes on Judgment Day. See? Ta-da! You can't judge me. You can't judge the church. You can't be in their shoes. And so there's Judgment Day. What is Judgment Day, Mormons? For you, Jesus comes from outer space. What does he do? The wicked are burned. Mass murder. And he takes over government. That's a coup. Jesus was created by Roman Emperor Constantine. Jesus did not exist as a deity before Roman Emperor Constantine created him in 325 CE. Christians are in denial of this fact. Thus, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is too. But it's weird because they embrace the first creed of Christianity, creating Christianity, but deny Constantine and his creation of Christianity as their source for the creation of Christianity, of their Jesus. And the only difference is the nature and character of Jesus. Instead of pure or immaculate, it's now non-Trinitarian. There is no difference. It's both false religions. And so Jesus is not going to ask me why. He doesn't exist. He's not coming. How many times has Nelson said in a coming day? Did you watch that video yesterday? I mean, seriously. We're told the church's name is going to change once he shows. Where are you, Jesus? Why don't you come? Mormons. And so I had to have a talk with the Salt Lake City Chief of Police this morning. As, again, he's refusing to do his job. There was a 5-car call to an apartment complex in the vicinity. And not a single one of them went to check about the homeless person that's brand new, illegally camping and loitering and trespassing. And in 20-degree weather this morning, too. Isn't there a code blue going on? I mean, Utah just hates the homeless with a passion. And so I had to remind him about having turned off the lights. And had to remind him that he's been told of criminal activity by the corporation. And that the new AG is a co-conspirator. Poor Utah. We just can't get a pure AG. All of them are involved in criminal activities. What the hell? And so yes, we have got something coming up on the 21st of January. Potentially. We're told it's going to happen. We're told that on the 21st, prophecy is about to be fulfilled for Mormons. Thank you, James, for linking me to a crime video channel going over the Mormons in Florida who hired a hitman to take out another Mormon. I didn't get to watch all of it, but it's very apparent that with the guy and the girl knowing each other, that the girl not marrying him, but marrying somebody else. That somehow she couldn't let the other guy go. Murder, death, kill. Thank you, John Spartan. I love that show. But yeah, I'm finishing up Handmaid's Tale in the final 5th season that I have available. I don't know if there's a 6th season going on or not, but anyway, just scarred for life watching that show. Dear God. And it's nowhere near what's going to happen here for Mormons. Dear God, Mormons. Why? Why do you resist this? As I went over again with you last night, the church is preventing you from knowing the actual parable prophecy that Joseph Smith gives you in section 101. And it's sad because they have to tell you that it's not a prophecy, that it's just a religious parable. Even though parable is by its very nature a prophecy. As we all know it from the parable of the 10 virgins, the parable of the talents, that is immediately following the prophecy of the latter days, even though Christians say it's the coming of Jesus, second coming. But nonetheless, Joseph Smith is prophesying here. Is Joseph Smith a prophet or not? Why are Mormons resisting this? It makes no sense to me. You know, Mormons want the church to be true, but they aren't doing what's necessary to show that the church is true. I did. Why didn't you, Mormons? But But you say the church is false. Yeah, this one, not Joseph in the Book of Mormon. Dumbasses. My hell. Full of hate because of your indoctrination. All of you are going to need to be re-educated, just like the poor Zoramites being kicked out of Zoram. You know, it wasn't Korihor that got a hold of him. He was kicked out, I think, actually, wasn't he? Wasn't Korihor kicked out of Zoram? Let me see if I can find that, and we'll come back to the search. Let's see. Korihor, Zoram. One. Alma 31:1. Now it came to pass at the end, after the end of Korihor, Alma, having received tithings of the Zoramites, were perverting the right ways of the Lord. So it'd be in the end of 30 then. And it came to pass that he, Korihor, went forth among the people, yea, among a people who had separated themselves from the Nephites and called themselves Zoramites, being led by a man whose name was Zoram. And he went forth amongst them. Behold, he was run upon and trodden down, even until he was dead. And thus we see the end of him who perverteth the ways of the Lord, and thus we see that the devil will not support his children. If the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the Venus symbol for the church, what does that make you, Mormons? The children of the church of the devil, of Lucifer himself, as the head of the church, but to speedily drag them down to hell. Perfect tie-in. I'm brilliant. Sorry, Ekaterina. You are no match for me. And it's also sad because she's female. Do you see how lonely I am? Do you see what I'm having to deal with? And then I had another Karen who sent me an email this morning insulting me by saying, "Let God prevail." Don't even get me started on that abomination. All these women want me, but they're conflicted because they want to make me evil and join the church. Get back to church. They just don't get it. I'm trying to save your lives, women, and you hate me for it. This is bad as the main character. What are you doing? Stop! Oh my God. Thank God it's a fictional script-written story. Because if it were real life, my hell, it would be a completely different outcome. Oh God, she's so frustrating. And I understand the trauma that she's been through, but people need to put her in a cage until she's calmed down. But that's what happens when the government fails to do their job. Is that people get so abused that because the government's not doing their job, they have to take action to protect themselves. Not just being in Canada is enough. Dear God. Anyway. that you may know the redemption of Zion. My will concerning the redemption of Zion. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints wants to make you believe that Zion is redeemed. Joseph Smith did it. And Brigham Young is the rightful, true successor. The church was never dissolved by the United States of America in 1887. Church is true. And so it talks about a nobleman who had a spot of land, very choice, said unto his servants, Go ye unto my vineyard, even upon this very choice piece of land, and plant Mormons, the 12 olive trees, the house of Israel. And set watchmen round about them, build a tower, that one may overlook the land round about, to be a watchman upon the tower. That's the church office building. Everybody at the church office building knows this. It was specifically built to fulfill the prophecy, self-fulfill it. But then the manual tells you, you're the servants, not the olive trees. That surely the Lord God will do nothing, not even reveal it to his servants, not the prophets. Okay. Salt Lake Temple Square is this. Church office building is the tower. They've got the temple of Lucifer with the inverted pentagrams on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. The redemption of Zion must occur. And so there's money changers for the prostitution of women, the abomination of desolation, with tithing, destroying the rituals of the temple. But here's where we're focusing on. January 21st. And the enemy came by night and broke down the hedge. And the servants of the nobleman arose and were affrighted and fled. Not the Mormons. And the enemy destroyed Temple Square and broke down the Mormons. And they should talk about scattering the olive trees. The Lord said unto one of his servants, Go and gather the keys of Moses, thus me, together the residue of my servants, take all my strength, my warriors, young warriors, and go to war. So yeah, there's, I'm not seeing it here, so it must be in 19 July 1840. There's a reason why I am inspired to do things. You really need to pay attention when I do videos, even as long as they are. You really need to pay attention when I do a scripture formatting of 19 July 1840 that the church won't do. Ignore me and not believe me at your own peril. So, verse 1, It's on Academia for free. You do keep scriptures, right? You need this. Don't assume that we're going to have access to the internet forever, that you'll be able to access it whenever you need to. You should be going over this and studying it in connection with Section 101's parable. You can't separate the two because he talks about the parable. They go together. Joseph Smith read a chapter in Ezekiel 38, and I already explained this when I did the coming out video. So refer to that. It's not too far down on the feed. Concluding with this saying, and when all these things come to pass, and lo, they will come, then shall ye know that a prophet... Oh, right. I footnoted it. Hath been among you. Afterwards he read the parable of the 12 olive trees. Thus footnoted to Doctrine and Covenants, section 101, starting in verse 43. And I could have kept going, but that's the start point. People will figure it out. And said, speaking of the land of Zion, that it consists of all North and South America, but that any place where the saints gather is Zion, which every righteous man will build up for a place of safety for his children. The olive trees are 12 stakes, which are yet to be built, not the temple in Zion, Jackson, nor Jerusalem, as some suppose. Independence, Missouri is not the future Zion. Did you catch this? This is why my #1 video has the wrong location, because I didn't know about this yet. For while the 12 stakes are being built, we will be at peace, but the nations of the earth will be at war. It's not built. It needs to be built. I've told you, the final four, the fall of the great and abominable church, the transfer of authority to me, so that I can then take you in an exodus to Zion to build Zion. So while we are building Zion, the rest of the world will be at war. We need this to save our lives. So, the redemption of Zion is the redemption of all North and South America, and those 12 stakes must be built up before the redemption of Zion can take place. And those who refuse to gather and build when they are commanded to do so cease to be saviors of men, and are thenceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and trodden under the feet of men for their transgression, as Reed Peck. Mormons who do not want to go with me to Zion to build it will be cast out. If Ekaterina thinks she's going to come to Zion, no, especially not a Russian agent. And so yes, Mormons will be told up front, this is not a free ride, but there's no monetary system of economy. And that should eliminate a lot of the Mormons who are at least rich from going. Because when the fall of the church happens, Mormons are going to demand their tithing back. And the rich especially. Because they've invested more tithing money into the church, with no guarantee of a return on their investment. Gambling 101. And so the rich, like the Jesus and the rich man parable, he refused to give up his wealth and come to Zion. Follow me to Zion. It's not be poor and minister the Book of Mormon to the world. No, go to Zion. Follow me. Keys of gathering. Jesus is not literal history. It's a prophecy of the latter days. That's what all my video content is for. I am a religious leader. It is a hate crime to attack me. It is not a hate crime to expose the crimes of this church. Mormons are incapable of discerning the difference. So verse 6, here we go. Then the enemy shall come as a thief in the night, and broke down the hedge. And the servants of the noblemen arose and were affrighted and fled. And thus the enemy did scatter the servants abroad. When the seed of these 12 olive trees are scattered abroad, they will wake up the nations of the whole earth. Yeah. Utah gets attacked. The church destroyed. It's going to wake up the whole world. Everybody's going to know about it. Everybody's already aware of it and knows what's coming. And so yes, they're going to cover it in the news all around the world. Everybody is waiting for what Trump is going to do on the 21st of January. This nation, the United States of America, will be on the very verge of crumbling to pieces and tumbling to the ground. And when the Constitution is upon the brink of ruin, I don't believe you, Joseph. You're a false prophet. This people will be the staff upon which the nation shall lean. Mormons just got destroyed. So it's going to be me and those who go to Zion. And they shall bear away the Constitution from the very verge of destruction. It's already been destroyed. But that's the government of Zion, a constitutional republic. Life, liberty, property. Real simple, but our government refused to follow it. And so here we are with the consequences. The fall of America. And so then other stuff ensues in the description of the blueprints of Zion. Also plays a big factor. So, why is everybody in denial of what's coming? Cox got caught. Did the video. And then new AG is also compromised in criminal activity. Oh dear God. ICE, the leader of ICE in Utah, came out and said that Utah is told to him as a sanctuary state that he is not allowed to go after those who are here illegally, that he is being hand-tied from doing his job, that Cox came out and said, "We fully intend to cooperate with Trump with the deportation of scattering Mormons abroad." The enemy, as a thief in the night, destroys Utah and scatters Mormons with a deportation. Because Mormons aren't just white people anymore. This is the Purim principle from the book of Esther. There's a weapon being put in place to destroy Mormons. And your Christ is doing videos in vain trying to save your lives from the coming destruction that's coming. Everybody's in denial that it's going to happen. See, the church, as I did the video, wants more members. Not just for the prostitution price to pay for terrorist activities, foreign and domestic, but also to build up an army to defend Zion. But oops. And so thus there will be a clash here in the state of Utah of Mormons in executive agencies doing battle with the federal agencies of Trump to get Utah to conform and comply to the law of Trump. Deport Mormons. And Utah says no. And thus a war and destroying this valley. And so there'll be white casualties as a result. Cox lied when he says we will conform and comply, and then came out and said, well, we're actually going to go after the apostates. But yeah, illegals, sure. But we're going to focus on apostates first. The illegals in Utah are not just being taken care of by the church through the bishop's storehouses, but as I put in the little clip, they're forced to become members to get benefits. And so yes, you've got a whole bunch of Islamists who are now members of the church but maintain their Islamic religious clothing in order to work at the church to pay to live here in the valley. It is just completely abominable, if not hilarious, because Islam are terrorists too. They are not being told that they have given up their Islamic beliefs, as they still wear the symbolism of their sexual abuse by their religious overlords. Just like Mormons have underwear of their sexually abusing religious overlords. Dear God. You did know that, didn't you? You cannot work for the church unless you're Mormon. And I see it every morning when I go out on the bus. Those who are Muslim, obviously Muslim because they're female and wear the hijab, are going to go and work for the church, which means they have to be Mormon. And the church came out and said, Nelson even said, that we are no longer a culture of whites in this valley, that we are a worldwide church. And so the church has allowed the cultural dress from around the world. And that's where the church is either stupid, as naive, or knowingly, maliciously evil with Islamists who are forced to join the church but allowed to continue to wear their Islamic dress. Dear God. What a scandal. And I'm the only one who knows about it. And so, on the 21st, just like he did when he first took office back in 2017, he's going to resume as normal. This time will be different. That's why he's escalating things this time. SCOTUS gave him a get-out-of-jail-free card for life to do whatever he wants as president. And it's just so pathetic that the deep state Dems, both in government and the press, are not understanding this. They're just gonna be crushed, steamrolled, and they won't even have time to be in shock of what the hell just happened. We didn't think Trump would cross this line again. I mean, seriously. He's talking about war against other countries. He wants war with Canada. But yes, when called out on it, he then backtracked, because that's what he does. He wants war with Canada. He is leading the deep state Dem press astray by downplaying it. Oh, no, it's going to be economic. No! He is going to send our troops to both borders. He is sending our troops to Panama because he wants his Trump Tower back for Ivanka, his sister wife, or daughter wife. And Greenland, which I don't think he has a golf course in Greenland. And so I think that's just back when he was president, talking about purchasing Greenland. He just wants it again. But I think I might have heard something. Trump golf course Greenland. What does Donald Trump want with Greenland? Here's why he's so interested. Apparently he doesn't have a golf course there. It's not national security. National security, my ass. Other than to be a branching point to attack Europe when Putin goes in to attack Europe. Because he did that in his first administration, put troops along the Eastern European countries in preparation for Putin's attack. So yeah, there is nothing he owns. Turn Greenland into a giant golf course. Of course, X would say that. Dear God. So yeah, that's the only reason. He's going to turn our allies into our enemies, and our enemies into our allies. So Greenland, being close to the UK and a closer branch to Europe, is what he's talking about, so that we can defend ourselves from our allies. And that's the reason for Canada also, because Canada is currently an ally, but under Trump, they will be our enemies. So thus, military force. He's helping prepare for Putin's attack on Europe. And nobody sees this but me, because I've been paying attention and I have associative memory to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. When the news should have been putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and they're not, because they don't have this ability, I guess. Even though they're the ones who did the stories in the first place. But that's the reason why I need to be able to download video content, is to show you in videos of this connection, for which I was cyber attacked this morning concerning James's Mormon Florida, who murdered a Mormon in Florida. I guess she wanted polyandry. She wanted him as a mister. But anyway, dear God. And so yes, the economy is going to instantly tank. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will take advantage of this and sell their stocks. Apple was so close to $4 trillion. And so thus the church selling their stocks of Apple and others, they're going to be raking in the dough. But that's what Trump is promising. That's why all the big tech guys were bribing Trump, to get Trump to fund them. That's why they're pumping up the stock market right now. So that once Trump takes over, they now have a justification for insider trading to sell the stocks. Because when you eliminate millions of customers, your business is going to go bust. They know this. Thus why they're pumping it up now, and then they're going to be selling it once D-Day comes. And so this is a very dangerous thing that's coming in the coming days. Thus why I have set up for the countdown to 3rd Nephi 7. Because it appears that there are two options. And 3rd Nephi 7 is not the one from section 101 and 19 July 1840. Because 3rd Nephi 7 says Trump will not be inaugurated on the 20th. But what does that mean for the church? How would they be destroyed if Trump doesn't take over and come in and attack America? The church who put Trump in, who had him do his all policies and such, Project 2025, Agenda 47, that was the church. Oaks are not wanting him to become king. See, the church's goal, in case you didn't know, is to rule the world. The world is not enough. That was for you, Stanford. I can't believe I put the wrong James Bond movie of Pierce Brosnan's in there. It was GoldenEye that I was referring to when he was a prisoner of war in North Korea, being tortured at the beginning of the show, before he's then traded. But yeah, world is not enough is also good, because that's the one where he gets injured falling from the balloon. He sleeps with his medical doctor so that she would clear him. Just a classic. And so they did not establish a king. Notice they're calling him a king. They are the kingmen, with the title of liberty, the Constitution of Mosiah. And so notice Zedekiah is called a king in chapter 1 of 1 Nephi. That's Trump. Did the video. Keep up. We're already at an hour. Notice I'm not cyber attacked yet. I was until I had to remove the security features, and they put 2 of them on this time. Dear God. So I had to delete both of them. But yeah, so far so good. We'll see. But here's the national divorce. Trump will not take office. The federal government will be destroyed. Every single state will be an independent sovereign nation. That's what the church wants. Utah to be the kingdom of Zion. Are you seriously going to deny this? Whether you're a Mormon or an ex-foe. Are you seriously going to deny that the church isn't going to get revenge on all of us who are anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, apostate, core whores? They're just going to let us go and allow us to live here? In their kingdom of Zion? Do you not understand the danger of the handmaid's tale? That is going to be multiple times worse under the church. There are dangers coming that need to be taken seriously. There are consequences that are coming. And so yes, I'm very concerned of how it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, and when it's going to happen. But these are the prophecies. And everything has happened, but we're waiting for the final 4 for both the government and the religion. We are told it's going to happen. It is prophesied to happen. And so hang on. Because if Trump does take office, the government will still be collapsed and turned to fascism. The enemy will still come as a thief in the night and destroy Utah as a sanctuary state. I can't believe Islam fooled Mormonism. Oh, this is our cultural dress. Oh, okay. Well, then you can keep wearing it then after you're baptized. Okay. Hilarious. Hilarious. So hang on, people. You chose not to listen to me. Consequences will follow.